Greetings Hexan counter players, and welcome back to my internet busting series on GMT games, MBT, the third video in the series and the second on the advanced rules. So today we're going to advance our knowledge of the spotting phase with 6.1.4 line of sight hold down. We're going to have another look at the combat phase with weapon sights and bailout. And also with movement, we're going to look at searching for a hold down position. So plenty of MBT goodness to be had. So let's have a look at 6.1.4 line of sight hold down, and that uses the location counter. I'm sure everyone who is interested in MBT would have at least a passing knowledge of hold down and partial hold down with armoured vehicles. So obviously this masks part of the vehicle from AP direct fire. It does not change the sighting opportunity, just the to hit factor. Hold down attempts occur in the movement phase, and the unit must have a move command. Also, in certain types of terrain, vehicles can attempt a partial hold down situation. As mentioned, the reason for seeking a hold down position is so that the vehicle is protected from AP fire. When in a hold down position, all hull related and track hits locations are treated as a miss instead of a hit on the defensive information table. Check the terrain effects chart, hold down column to see what terrain you can attempt to go hold down in. Initially, when looking at brush, clear and crops, you might think, well, it's only a 1 in 10 chance of going hold down, and that's true in those locations. But further down the table you can see that gullies are 1 in 50, so a 50-50 chance. Rough and rubble are 1 in 30, as is a shell hole and woods. So in certain circumstances, I really think a hold down position could be extremely advantageous. Searching for a hold down position is discussed in chapter 6.6.9 of the advanced manual. So as mentioned previously, the vehicle must have a move command, and it expends all its movement searching for a hold down position. Once a suitable hex has been identified, roll a D100. This roll is modified as follows. If attempting a partial hold down, 20 is subtracted from the roll, and note there in the terrain effects chart that only railroad track and walls are eligible for partial hold down attempts. Unit size is found on the vehicle data card and modifies the hold down roll as displayed there on the screen. And the roll is also modified by the unit formation grade. If the modified result is in the tech hold down range, mark the vehicle with a location hold down marker. If the vehicle was attempting partial hold down and is successful, use 2 markers. At this stage, I think it would be a useful exercise to review the vehicle data card weapon factors. On the left is the main gun details, in this case for the M60, a 105mm L52. Next to this is the turret rating, TT2. The rating is 1, 2 or 3. You can also have there 360, which is for a turretless vehicle, or TT60, 120 and 180, which is limited fields of fire. Next is the stabilization rating, in this case SB2. The rating ranges from 0, which is unstabilized, to 1, 2 or 3, with 1 being the best. This is most often used with the short halt command. ST describes the vehicle's sights, in this instance L for laser and S stereo. The rate of fire is N for normal, see 6.5.2.1, but other vehicles have rate of fires of quick, rapid and fast. The last section details limited ammunition. H stands for heat or hash, S smoke, D smoke discharges. So the number following the letter is the roll target. So a 1d10 is rolled, and if the result is greater than the type number, apply ammo limits. See 5.16.2.1. At this stage, the goal is to play MBT with all the factors on the weapon data row. Let's have a closer look at weapon sights as they're described in 6.5.2.2.5. O is for optical, M for ranging machine gun, S stereo, L laser, D laser designator, R for AA radar, and GR for ground-based radar. Laser sights are not affected by smoke or fire. Exception is ATGM, which we'll discuss at another stage. AP combat modifiers apply to L and S sights. The weapon sight modifiers are on game card A. AP and GP modifiers share space on the table. The AP modifiers are those preceding the slash. Once again, note that ATGMs do not apply weapon sight modifiers. So you can see it there in the example with a laser sight and an AP range factor of M. The AP weapon sight modifier is +2. So these are AP hit modifiers. While we're on game card A, we might as well have a look at the AP unit grade modifiers. Once again, the AP and GP unit grade modifiers share space in the table, and the AP modifiers are those preceding the slash. The AP range factor is used to determine the applicable modifier, if any, and note that the season grade is considered the baseline and therefore does not have any modifiers. So as per the example there, with regular unit grade and an AP fire factor of M, the AP unit grade modifier is -2. These are the AP hit modifiers that are discussed in the basic and advanced rules. So shooter suppressed, I'm going to introduce the concept of suppression when we talk about the bailout rules later in this video. The chafe modifiers, they pertain to artillery, so we haven't touched that. And dual fire, we haven't really had a close look at. ATGMs, as I mentioned, is a separate discussion. But all the others so far we have covered, so we're getting pretty close to at least covering all the basic and advanced AP hit modifiers. Bailout from AP fire is discussed in 6.5.2.7 and for the crew in particular in 7.1. So if the MBT scores a AP no damage, damaged or track hit combat result, they need to roll a bailout roll of 100. So the modifiers are for the formation. If they're elite, they get +5 to the die roll, and if they're green or raw, they're -5 to the die roll. For the AP no damage combat result, a roll of 10 or less will result in a bailout. Now this roll is modified by the unit grade, whether it's elite, it's +5, and raw or green is -5. So for the damaged track hit result, a result of 30 or less will result in a bailout, and that once again is modified by the formation grade. This introduces us to the important concept of suppression discussed in 5.10. In the advanced game, units may also be suppressed as a result of GP combat or other actions, for example, bailout. However, please note that at the moment we're talking about main battle tanks, and when a crew bails out of a main battle tank, they cannot get back in it. And in fact, there is no crew marker, so suppression does not apply when a crew bails out of a main battle tank. Bailing out is discussed in chapter 5.15 of the advanced game rules. So when a vehicle receives a no damage, knockout, brew up or track hit from AP fire, there is a chance that the vehicle's crew may bail out. A vehicle's bailed out crew is not represented by a counter. It just melts into the battlefield. Once a vehicle is abandoned, it is out of action and may not be reoccupied by either side. For the remainder of the scenario, place a bail counter on or next to the vehicle. So there you go. It's they fail the roll, remove the vehicle and replace it with the bail counter. So for all intents and purposes, that concludes my discussion of the main battle tank in MBT. So I thought now we'd have a look at anti-tank guided missiles and what 80s battlefield would be complete without ATGM. If a unit has ATGM, this will be listed in its weapon data row, and also it has a particular format in the offensive information table. The M2A1 Bradley IFV has TOW 2 ATGM. Note that point blank range is out to 38 hexes. Now just below this entry is a line of factors which we'll have a look at now. P is for penetration, and with a rating of 180 this is a very powerful weapon. GP direct fire is used only when these weapons fire at a leg or towed unit. CL class include 1, 2, 3 or 4 class ATGM. This refers to the type of guidance. SP is speed. The speed at which ATGM fly is comparatively slower than the typical tank shell. The ATGM speed factor is a numeric value representing a number of hexes. The ATGM are different to other weapons in that they are more effective at longer ranges, and in fact its optimum range in this case would be from 5 to 38 hexes. That's because the operator has to capture the missile in their sights shortly after launch to guide it onto the target. Vehicle and helicopter mounted class 1 and 2 ATGMs may have a short halt command. They resolve fire in the same way as other AP-GP type fire. Regardless of the stabilisation for other weapons, all CL1 and 2 ATGMs are classified as stabiliser 0, and they apply a -4 or -15 modifier. So if you note there with the Bradley, it is class 1, so we can use the short halt command. A very interesting feature of ATGM combat is that the target can attempt to dodge an ATGM missile. Now if the target is beyond the speed range of the ATGM, remembering our Bradley speed is 19, so if they're 20 or more hexes away from the Bradley, that vehicle or target can attempt to dodge the missile. So that's quite a unique feature. So we have a Bradley in an overwatch situation that is seasoned, has sights of optical and a stabilisation factor of 0, firing an ATGM at a T72 at a range of 23 hexes. So with a maximum range of 38 on our ATGM, that shouldn't be an issue, should it? So let's have a look at the target. Well, he's in rough terrain, so that's -2. He has a spot move marker, so that's +2. So we can only see out to 20 hexes. So there's lesson 1. Over 20 hexes, make sure your target's in clear terrain and preferably moving. Good things come to those who wait. Bradley in the township just to the top left of the map has spotted this convoy of T-72s charging along the road, so seemingly on a Hail Mary mission. So we must have these guys surely. So they are spot move, so it's +2, and I don't think they have any benefits at all in the spotting department. So we can spot these guys out to 40 hexes. So this guy's well and truly in our sights with the ATGM. Next we consider the AT hit modifiers. So the target is moving, but it's been fired at by an ATGM, so the modifier is -1. Also, we're firing under Overwatch, so that is also -1, so that gives us a net -2 on the AP hit modifiers. Next we look at the AP hit table. -2 at point blank is 72, so we have a 72% chance of a hit. Now we roll 100 to see if we've scored a hit. So a roll of 21 means we've scored a hit. So now we roll 100 for the hit angle and damage factors. The roll produces 52. We refer the tens result of 5 to the AP hit location table for rear side, and a value of 5 gives us a hull side hit. So now that we know the location of the hit, we need to determine if the hit penetrated the hull. So we compare the ATGM penetration factor, which in this case is 180, with the rear hull side defensive factor of the T72 of 29. So definitely the hit has penetrated. Next we apply the singles roll to the firing unit's AP damage table. So you can see there for the tow to row, a value of 2 results in damage. So we know the vehicle was hit in the hull, so we have to place a hull damaged marker. The next step is to check for bailout. So we're damaged or track crew, so a roll 30 or less will result in a bailout. So that completes an ATGM attack on an MBT. I'm sure there's plenty of information there for you to have a chew on. So next time we'll start having a look at infantry units and GP fire, so a bit of reading to do before I get back to you. So enjoy your gaming, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.